Are there lessons that match the age of players, or should be the age of players that you teach? So, for example, is there kind of a certain template for 13-year-olds, a certain template for 18-year-olds, or some college players that you may see?
Sure. So
And
we'll
by the way,
probably
that's important to not
yes,
be rigid, right? That's
yes,
where where being very flexible as a coach comes into play.
for sure.
I think.
So
I think.
I mean, to go off that rigidity, we have programs or templates designed for all of our athletes in the building, right? That goes strength and conditioning, throwing, catching, hitting. But the idea is that they're not doing this on their own. There's a reason there's a coach there. So we do want to be able to provide flexibility. We do want to be able to say, hey, listen, like, if this one isn't working, we're adjusting it on the fly because of how you look today, how you feel today. The athlete might have stayed up all night studying for something, and we came in and we had this big plan to do a high intense bat speed progression, and they're just not ready for it today. And that's fine. You scrap it, you move on, you adjust. So anyway, I think that is important. As far as the, let's go like 12U, 14U, 16U, 18U type setup college athlete. In the off season, 12U, I'd say like their off season probably is going to last longer until like April, May, June. So when we progress mechanics, we can progress a lot slower, which makes sense. And I'll have a specific progression in mind of what we would typically, how, like, let's say perfect world, how we would want to progress. Now we have some athletes who are going to progress a little faster, some that maybe go a little slower. 14U and 16U, depending on if they are playing high school ball or not, their off season is shorter, their progression is faster. So their progressions, let's say, start around November for mechanics. I'm trying to get their mechanics pretty much solidified in a place they need to be come January, so that February and March, we're really focusing on their timing and making sure that's ready for live pitching come April. So again, it does depend on the time of year. College, then I don't see a college athlete except during the summer and maybe a couple of weeks of winter. So
Right.
that is, I mean, we are trying to find 2 or 3 drills that get their swing to the place it needs to be.
Mhm.
We're trying, and they are basically doing those warm up drills on their own. And the entire lesson is focused on like, okay, outside pitch, high outside pitch focus, low outside pitch focus. How are we like, really gaining confidence in different areas of the zone, different types of spin, different types of pitch movement.
So
Um,
the lessons really should be almost like strength training for athletes as well, right? Like off-season training, you start to build up that strength. You want to be your strongest. Your peak should be right at the beginning of the year, and you want to try to maintain that throughout the year. It's kind of the same thing with hitting lessons and even pitching lessons as well.
yes, you're trying to like create this neural groove, right? We're trying to get our body to move very consistently. And the more times you get, it might take 40 minutes sometimes to get a hitter to be swinging their best swing. And we want to move that to like 10 minutes so that we can spend like 30 minutes of that lesson with really their best swing, like really getting solidified. The biggest difference is that we don't have the same intensity that a weight training program might be. So I'm not putting weight on someone's back. I'm not forcing them to be high effort for very long periods of time. So unless I have someone on a very specific bat speed program, there's typically something called oscillation with a strength training program where you hit your highs and then you have a recovery day and then a higher, and you're trying to not just blast them every single day type thing, right? Unless I have someone who's committing 5-6 days a week with me and I can really program that. That would be the only thing that is potentially different from a strength training workout versus a hitting program.
Yeah. Speaking, by the way, so drills, you mentioned that a couple of minutes ago. There's so many drills now on social media, and everybody's doing these wacky drills, right? Maybe it's not wacky to them, so sorry. But they're doing all these drills, and it just seems like drill, 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 do this, use this device, etc. How do you determine, well, let's just figure this out now. How do you determine what drills to do with a hitter and which ones will actually work and be necessary for that hitter to progress?
Sure. So I will say I
I
have.
guess I should ask, what are your baseline of drills?
Sure.
If
Okay.
you have any.
So I have 500 drills, and
Okay.
they're all filmed. They're all labeled. However, they're all categorized. So I have my level 1 drills that pertain to an athlete needing to really work on positional understanding, and really at the end of the day, they kind of turn into movements. So there might be 5 to 10 drills that I'm really focusing on with one athlete, even though I have like a library of over 500, right? So I think that's the delineating factor is like we can have our crazy wacky drills, but they probably won't apply for every single hitter. There's going to be a specific set of drills for a specific level athlete based on exactly what they need to work on. And I think that's probably the biggest miss is we see something on social media and think, oh, either I got to try it or like, oh, that's ridiculous. Well, it might not be ridiculous for this athlete who, you know, is a righty thrower, lefty hitter, can't get into a little bit of a layback position, lacks side bend. So they need to adjust, you know, who knows? Maybe there's a lot of thought and maybe there's not. Maybe you find some social media drills, but there's not a lot of thought. But I always try to give someone the benefit of the doubt that there's more thought than we think to a drill. But
so even when they're like standing, I don't know. I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
Even when they're like, they've got this thing on their back and they're just kind of like rotating around, like not really doing much. Hard to give that the benefit of the doubt.
Maybe they are coming back from a lower back injury and this is the initial phases of return to the swing.
Wasn't that part of rehab though?
Maybe, who knows? You know, I always try to read the comment. I always try to look at the hitter, but all right, yeah, I'm open, you know, because it's similar to a cue, right? Like the cue that I say to a hitter is an interpersonal relationship between myself and the hitter. It's not really what's actually happening, but it's what's getting the hitter to actually help feel what's happening, right? So and we see that, like we'll see Major League Baseball players be like, yeah, I feel like I'm swinging down on the ball. And then all of a sudden you watch their swing and they're getting like on plane early, right? But in their, you know, and you can crucify a coach all you want for saying swing down, swing up, do whatever, but they're trying to get the hitter to feel something, right? Yeah. If I have a girl who's popping up a high and outside pitch and we're in the middle of season, I'm going to tell her to try to hit a ground ball to the opposite field. And people are like, oh, that's not how you supposed to. Well, you know what? That turns into a line drive for her. And that's, so again, it's whereas a cue is an interpersonal relationship, I think so is drills sometimes, where that can be a relationship between the coach and the athlete, trying to figure out what are your 5 to 10 drills that go in your toolbox that are going to help you for the current phase you're in. And then every single one of those drills has a progression and we can start to reevaluate and decide, okay, do we need to progress? Do we need to regress? Do we need to move to a different phase based on, hey, your season's coming up. We have a camp coming up, whatever it may be.